Hi, this is Chrissy Incognito, and welcome to another episode of my show. Now, you might be wondering why I'm incognito. This is my alter ego that can say things that I cannot otherwise say unless I was incognito. So, thank you for returning. In order to understand more about this episode, please view the previous episodes. Happy listening. Okay, so thank you for returning. I know the studio looks a little different. It's because we're not in the studio today. We're getting it cleaned and repaired and, spruced up because we were having some glitches. So we thought we would take care of it. But I didn't want to interrupt taping. So right now, it's the Greg video. Now, I was pretty. This is the guinea pig. Sorry if you heard that. I was pretty intoxicated when I taped it, and I really wanted to keep it. There was just editing of a lot of me going and pausing and everything like that. The problem is I don't know what happened, but it just whenever I try to upload it, it says unable. And I tried and I tried and we tried and all of this kind of stuff. And it's just not happening. So I'm kind of having to redo that segment, not as intoxicated. But there's a segment after this in which it's emotional and it's very candid and I want to keep it. But I have to also explain it because I'm all over the place. Okay. So where we left off was Greg seemed to be like a nervous Nelly, right? I was a nervous Nelly. He's a nervous Nelly. So the things that he said and did not alarm me at all. It didn't raise any red flags. It didn't anything, right? So, he was at his job for about 5 years and he really, really liked it. And every time he went on vacation or he took time off, he would always be very scared that they would get rid of him. And I would say, well, what are you talking about? They're like, well, I've been gone for a week or I've been gone for 2 weeks. Maybe, they're not going to need me and they're going to eliminate me from my position. Now, the job was very important to him. The coworkers were important. The job was important. Obviously, the money was important. So he would kind of go through these episodes in which he was scared to lose it. And it was never anything irrational or like alarming. So it was just this thing that would go, that would be a repeat issue throughout our relationships. Once or twice a year, he would just kind of get stuck on this, maybe for a day or two, and then we would move on. And then I remember one time he came to one of my jobs as a volunteer, and there was a new guy that started, and he took me aside and he was like, are you going to leave me for that guy? And I was like, what? He's like, there's a new guy. Are you going to leave me for him? I was like, what are you talking about? And so whenever there were new people at work, or I guess there was like new people in the scene of our lives, he would get very insecure, okay? Which I kind of got it because, in my opinion, at the time, obviously, the relationship meant a lot to him. And he was scared of losing it. The job meant a lot to him. The relationship meant a lot to him. And again, it was once or twice a year. It was nothing concerning. If this was a common theme, I would have had to address it and be like, why do you think I'm going to leave you? Or why do you think I want to leave you? Or he would, if he were being too clingy, I would have to address that. So these weren't alarming situations. These were pretty just typical. Like I said, he was a nervous Nelly. He overly thought. He would overthink things. And I was a nervous Nelly. So I kind of understood where he was coming from. That's why the next thing that I'm going to say was not alarming. I felt like it was along the lines of, they're gonna remove me from my job. You're gonna break up with me. So when the bimbo came into the picture, he was acting weird for, I don't know, a few months. And I kept on trying to get it out of him. I kept on trying to get him out of it. Now, there was a lot going on at that time. He was finishing college. He was moving to a new position. So there was a lot of like stuff that wasn't normally happening in our relationship. So I just thought it was, dare I say, growing pains, right? If you can hear that, that's Alexa. She's telling me the weather. So I just did not feel that what he was about to say was alarming. Okay. So I'm trying to get it out of him. He's acting weird. He's being evasive. He's saying, oh, nothing, I'm just busy, whatever. So one day, I guess I must have pressed where he felt compelled to give me an answer. And he said, if we ever broke up, would we be friends? And I'm like, what? He's like, in the event that we ever broke up, would we be friends? I said, no. And he so innocently was like, but why not? I said, because if we ever broke up, it would not be mutual. Either I would have cheated on you. I was using extreme things, or you would cheat on me and I would have nothing to do with you. And he's like, oh, okay. So again, I thought that was I don't want to lose you. And if I do, can I still have you in my life? That's where I thought that was going. That's not what was happening. He was planning on getting rid of me. He was planning on leaving me. He already decided probably 2 seconds after he left her. I'm sorry, after he met her. But he already decided that. So on the video that wasn't able to load, I was saying how Greg is taken with a person that is taken with him. Okay? He might like the person, he might have a crush on the person, he might think they're attractive or funny or want to be around them. But the real hook is when you like him. He suddenly thinks it's love. Okay? And I had to do a lot of reflecting on this. I did not realize it. I had to reflect, how could something that I thought was so solid and good and stable just be like, bye, So that was what he was taken with. He was taken with the fact that I was taken with him. Okay. I also checked a lot of boxes, right? I was never married. I didn't have any kids. I didn't have A, B, C, and D. So he could bring me home. Okay. When I was trying to because this was over months trying to get information out. But again, I just thought he was going through an insecure period. They're going to fire me. You're going to leave me for this guy. I don't want to lose you out of my life. I thought it was just one of those things. Because had I realized it wasn't, I would have probably changed my number and never talked to him again. So, and again, I trust him, right? I trust him. I don't see, he's acting weird, but we're not fighting. We're not, we're going about things, but he's acting weird. So, when I finally dragged it out of him, he said, there's a girl at work. I was like, okay, because I still didn't. This is how stupid I was. I still wasn't alarmed. I was like, I know we love each other, so I don't know what you're going to say, but there's a girl at work, and he put such an emphasis on, he was like, she likes me. He was so taken with the fact that she liked him. I said, okay, Greg, I said, there's a lot of people at work and in your life that are going to like you, that want to be friends with you, want to talk to you, may even have a crush on you. And he's like, yeah, I don't know. So at this point, I thought he was feeling, this is how stupid I am. At this point, I'm feeling he's feeling guilty for somebody liking him, right? Like, I know you like me, but I'm taken. I know you like me, but this isn't going to happen. And I don't know what to do with these feelings. That's where I thought he was coming from. Whether it's completely stupid or utterly stupid, that's kind of where I thought he was coming from. Like, I feel kind of guilty that somebody likes me. Maybe I led them on. Well, I don't know what to do with this information. I don't know how to deal with it. I don't know how to feel. I did not think I want you to go, right? Like, I don't want anymore. That I do. That did not register. Like, that's how invested and believing in the situation I was, and convinced. I keep using this word convinced, and it kind of denotes like purposeful convincing. That's the wrong word too. Like, convincing is trying to talk you into something that you may or may not want or may not believe. So I know I use this word, but there's no other term to describe what it was. I was convinced. His actions, his behavior towards me, his actions, his speech, everything lent to the belief that he felt the same way that I did, and we had like the same relationship, right? Okay. So he finds out from me that, of course, asshole, I'm not going to be friends with you, because that means something really went bad in our relationship for us to be apart. Okay. I said it would never be like, oh yeah, you want to be friends. I said to him, it's never going to be a mutual thing. I said either it's going to be something on my end or it's going to be something on your end, but it's not just going to be like, good luck, have a nice life. Call me when you get a chance. Okay. So this whole thing comes, and then I try to start getting rid of him. You don't, because it all comes out now. She likes me, but I also like her, right? Like, we're in the fucking third grade. I said, there's the door. I said, you don't know after all this time how you feel and what you want. There's the fucking door. And the more he dragged this out, the angrier I got. And I have a side to me that is really, really vicious, okay, verbally. And so that was a part of, I never saw this wishy-washy fucking, you're an idiot side to him, and he never saw my vicious side. And I remember one day my sister, which is a whole nother topic, said to me, how does he not know that about you? Like, if he knows you so well and he loves you. I said, because anybody that brought that out in me, I would get rid of. Like, there's no reason why he would ever see that side of me. We were always gentle and sweet and nice and loving to each other. He might have seen me get feisty, about work situations or about outside of the house situations. He would never see that side, because if I had to be that way, we're done. And that's exactly what happened. So the more vicious I got, the more distant he got, which I can understand, but then go. And he wasn't going. And I realized he wasn't going because he was trying to retain me as a backup plan. Okay, girls, I ain't nobody's backup plan. Okay? So I had to piece this all together after it was done. But I didn't realize that because I kept telling him to go. No, no, no. You gave me plenty of opportunity to go. If I wanted to go, I would. And then so I was like, what the fuck's your problem? So part of it had to do with the fact that not that Greg couldn't do any harm in my eyes. That's not what I'm saying. But I had such a high respect for him, and his opinion and who he was meant so much to me that now he went from here to here, and I feel like I was no longer valuable. Okay? He created something in which he couldn't repair. And although I don't really think he was a narcissist, I'm going to use the narcissistic mask as an analogy. But basically, he had this mask on of like good boy. Okay, he was the apple of his eye to his parents. He was the apple of his eye to me. He was apple to his eye at everybody at work. Everybody loved him. And not because he was like, yeah, let me work the room and get me to like you, right? I mean, get you to like me. He was just so sweet and kind and nice. So, and he was very endearing. So he had never had anybody hate him before. So again, he didn't know what to do with that information. So once I went into, no, let me put the mask down. Let me call you on what you are. I was no longer valuable. I had no value anymore. And in the next video, although I'm drunk, I talk about our interactions after we broke up, okay? And I want to fill it in a little bit. In the video, I'm talking about us breaking up. And then somewhere in there, we obviously stopped talking, and his sister contacts me. So I'm going to be all over the place, but basically in the beginning of the video, I talk about while we're breaking up and then we're broke up. And then I talk about how his sister contacts me and we have unintentional contact. Okay.